Hey everybody, this is Dan Norvell, and this is a special episode of Headstone Hunters, and I'm at the corner of Pearl Street and Bloodspoint in Boone County, Illinois, at the famous Bloodspoint Cemetery, rumored to be the second most haunted cemetery in the state of Illinois. Now, I know I said I'd never talk about hauntings or ghosts on my Headstone Hunters. However, I think that's why this cemetery attracts so much attention. The attention I want to pay to it is a few years ago there was a restoration effort, and they did fix the front gates and the fences and everything, because these were knocked down quite a bit. And Bloodspoint suffered a lot of destruction from people that were kicking over gravestones. $8,000 worth, as a matter of fact. A lot of the gravestones in Bloodspoint are still damaged, mostly because some of these families, nobody's even around anymore to fix them. So we're going to step into Bloodspoint here in a second. Larry and myself have been here literally dozens upon dozens of times, shooting videos for Ghost Hunter Dan or Small Town Paranormal for restoration efforts. So I'm going to start the tour right here. Now, over in the corner, right over in there, used to be a shed, and teenagers would used to go and hide in it and what have you, have beer parties in it. And thankfully that shed was torn down. Bloodspoint Cemetery was established here in this spot in 1836. And if you get past the hauntings that I do not believe are happening here, now once again, I'm going to stray off the beaten path here. I'm not going to ever say it's not. I've just never documented anything here. I've never caught anything here, and I've literally been here, like I said, dozens of times. One of my favorite stones in this whole cemetery is this little tiny obelisk stone, and all you can make out on it is Little Willie. Probably one of the coolest little stones in the cemetery. Over here is a stone that's been toppled time and time again. The pedestal that sat on top of it is now broken in half. Bloodspoint has a couple of the big tree stones that are family plots. You can see how well the family plots were outlined with the cement around them. But the saddest thing about Bloodspoint Cemetery is the destruction. You can see a stone cracked in half, leaned against another stone right there. You can see these stones have been broken off and, laid wherever they could put them. And, out in the middle of nowhere is pretty much where we're at. Very hard to police this place, and it's just too bad because it's a beautiful, beautiful cemetery. People, when people go and place their loved ones in a cemetery, they don't think that, years down the road that people are going to vandalize the very stones that they put to remember their family members, and it's just really a shame that people do that. Symbolism. Right here you've got a tree, like a willow tree, on top of this stone. Gentleman was buried here, it looks like August 17th, 1853. Here's the remnants of a stone, possibly this one here. Right over there is kind of a pedestal stone right there, and I'm going to kind of zoom in on it. You can see the hands joined right at the top there. Put my finger in the frame. Whoops, right there. Just take you back out. Whoa, there we go. But more than symbolism and more than anything else, it's just the unneeded destruction that happens here, and it keeps happening here. And it's just, you know, this is what's happening to our cemeteries in Illinois, and I'm pretty sure probably nationwide. I can't quite make out what that is right there. It looks like a wreath of some sort with a ribbon across it, which the writing on the ribbon is now worn off. A lot of times when they did family plots, they just put these little stones and put the loved one's name right on top of the stone, and then the family headstone along with it. This used to be an obelisk stone right here, which somebody took the top of it. The only remaining obelisk stone, and it's made out of granite, is a big one right in the middle, and I believe the name on it is Wit or Hit. I can't remember without walking over to it. They've really tried to clean this up and get Bloodspoint back to where, you know, it's beautiful again. That takes a lot of money, and it takes a lot of people who know what they're doing to do that. And you know, the neighbors try to keep people out of here, but it's just a futile effort. Here's a stone in memory of our soldiers. This stone was toppled in an early video that Larry and I did, so they did get that stone fixed. There's a stone over there of a family with the last name of Bacon. Somebody spray painted Yum on there and tipped it over. They've now fixed that. Many old sandstone stones. One of the coolest ones is graves with the open book here. A gentleman that lives close to here said his children used to come over and play in the cemetery and stand on this stone and act like they were reading out of the book. One of the coolest ones is these double stones right here that are sandstone. And the same gentleman said his kids used to say this was the gateway. You know, walking between the stones was a gateway to somewhere. I don't know. The imaginations we all have when we're kids, of course. And you can't even really make out the writing on here anymore. Lots of old stones though. You can see the moss all over this stone here. There's a stone over there that the column was busted in half. And Bloodspoint was, okay, I'm sorry to go back, it's Wit, so I was correct. It's Wit is on the obelisk stone in Bloodspoint. Bloodspoint has been run on mostly donations for a long time. There is a cemetery board and a keeper, but that's in the whole county. It's not just of Bloodspoint. So they're doing the best they can. Here's a stone with the hands shaking in the middle. Pronounced, it was carved out. Here's one that's been knocked over that was more ornate. And as you can see up here, the hands are shaking. 1886 was that burial. Here's a stone that's been busted in half with another willow tree, and right next to it another willow tree. Here's another one with a book on top. Here's one with the hand with the finger pointing upwards. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. And one of the things that I do want to correct that I said in my last video, and the hand pointing downward meant that that person either led a less than lackluster life, or that they were taken too young. So I did a little research, and I forget what I said on the other video, but I was wrong, so I'm correcting it in this one. So anyhow, there's lots and lots of old stones. This cemetery's been around for a long, long time. And like I said, it's just a shame that people have to destroy it, because, I mean, every stone in the cemetery is a representation of a family that lost somebody, and this is what they left to honor them. And by people destroying the cemetery, you're dishonoring them. And, you know, it's not the thing to do. So if you see this video and, you know, there's no ghosts in here, stay out of here. If you're going to come and enjoy the cemetery and respect it, nobody cares if you're here. But if you're here and you're going to be kicking stones over, even if you're going to come here to ghost hunt, do it respectfully. But don't be kicking stones over. Don't be destroying the cemetery. These are representing people's lives and representing the history of Boone County. And, you know, there are new laws on the books that if you're caught destroying stones in a cemetery, you'll be going to jail and paying a hefty fine. And I hope that they put it to where it's a felony and you do prison time, because, I mean, I'll tell you what, it's not something to be taken lightly. So here's the other tree in Bloodspoint Cemetery. One of the local myths was it was a tree with arms. No, it's not a tree with arms. That's just the way it's carved. And sometimes when you're driving by at night, right over there, and you look over the fence line, looks like an owl could be sitting up there. No, it's this stone. And it's a family plot stone. The little pieces of tree represent each member of a family that's buried here. And if you walk over here, here's where you were actually supposed to enter the family plot. And there's a step up, you walk through, and then you are now into the family plot. So my next episode will air April 15th. I'm going to put this one out later today, just because everybody's always asking about Bloodspoint. What I want you guys to see is the beauty of Bloodspoint. I mean, look around. I panned around when I was first here, and there's a corner of Pearl and Bloodspoint right there. It's nice and quiet. A family lives right over next to the cemetery. The gentleman that lives there keeps a close watch on it. People that live over across the road, and then the neighbors up the road, they all keep a really good eye on Bloodspoint Cemetery, and I'm glad they do. And if they catch you in here, they will call the police and have you arrested. And you should be arrested if you're going to be being destructful. So I spent a little more time here just to kind of explain, you know, a little bit about Bloodspoint, and to show you that there's a lot of old sandstone in here, and there's a lot of granite in here, and there's a lot of history in here. And every time somebody comes in here and kicks a stone over, you destroy more of that history that we'll never get back. And you know, they're trying to restore it the best they can, but you know, in the times that we live in, cemetery restoration gets put on a back burner because there's money to go to help the living. But you know, in this day and age, we have to preserve what we have. And there's people that specialize in preserving these stones, and it costs a lot of money, and it takes a lot of time and effort to get these stones back to where they need to be. And, you know, when people work that hard and put something into, you know, something they love to do, it's just a shame that people destroy it. So, if you're going to come to any cemetery in the whole United States or anywhere in the world, be respectful. Be mindful of what it represents. And, you know, go through, look at the names, read the dates, and you might just get a history lesson and learn something that you never even thought you would. Every time I come to Bloodspoint, I learn something new. So, as you can see, no ghosts, no hauntings, just a peaceful little cemetery that if it was called Sunny Hill Cemetery probably wouldn't draw the attention that it does because of Arthur Blood settling in this area, and they named a road after him and a cemetery. So, be respectful. Be mindful when you're walking through here. Respect the people that are buried here and the families that put them here. And, you know, it's been around since 1836. I'd like to see it around until I'm long gone. So, this is Dan Norvell for Headstone Hunters, Bloodspoint Cemetery in Boone County, Illinois. And we'll see you again in the next episode on April 15th. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. And thanks for watching.